up, virtual people? Welcome to episode 20 of Fandom Spotlite's VCR Redux. We take your favorite franchises out of the analog era and bring them back to 2021. I'm your host, pop culture punk Chris Stiles, joined as always by my co-host with the most, film professor Ian Klink.
How you doing, everybody?
And we have two radical guests on the show tonight. First up, our own honorary third host with the most, from Rick Barth and the Line. Oh, Mickey, you're so fine, you blow my mind. Mickey Torres is on the show.
What's up, everyone?
And rounding out this righteous crew, founder of the soon-to-be-launched Still Fabulous podcast. He's a hunk, a hero, and one of the best dudes you will ever meet. Bobby Masters on the show.
It's a pleasure to be here. I'm totally bugging.
I am so bugging. We are here today because the Clueless TV show went off the air in 1999, and ever since then, the world has been bugging.
God, thank God.
I was not a big fan of the show.
I actually like it. I like the show.
You and the rest of America, Bobby.
I had just to quickly establish the existence of the show for all those people saying this isn't a franchise. What the hell is this? No, that was a sequel series. And technically that makes this show, this universe, a franchise. But, you know, luckily we, or unluckily, I guess in this case, we never got a proper film sequel. Luckily, we never got an awful reboot, thank God. And we never got the Netflix sequel series we deserve and Mickey would love.
But I love it.
Before we can get this film back on the freeway, we need to talk about how it came into our lives and what we love about it. We'll start with Bobby, but that also goes for you watching at home. Hit us up in the live chat with your Discovering Clueless stories. So, Bobby, first time you watch Clueless, we talking cable, theaters? What do we got? What's the scoop?
Well, I was 4 years old when the movie came out, so I did not see it at the premiere. The first time I saw Clueless, I was about 11 years old, and I had just randomly spotted it at Rite Aid in the little movie section they have there. Looked like it was up my alley. I've always been a big Brittany Murphy fan, R.I.P. And I just fell in love with it immediately. Great cast, great soundtrack, the lingo, the costumes.
Can't argue with any of that, especially the Brittany Murphy stuff. Who, I don't know anyone that didn't live through the 90s and didn't love Brittany Murphy one way or another. Ian, Mickey, you guys.
I get a Brittany Murphy tattoo going. I just don't know what to pick yet. She has so much range.
I would absolutely get a King of the Hill tattoo.
I was gonna say Luann Platter tattoo.
Yes, Luann.
I almost feel like there could be somehow you get a tattoo of Brittany Murphy holding a skateboard, and the deck of the skateboard is Marvin the Martian. That would be pretty dope.
Oh, that would be dope.
That would be very intricate. Yes, I love that idea.
But you can do traditional style for sure. I mean, I don't know,
That'd be like Inception.
Inception,
a dream within a dream within another dream.
Exactly.
Clueless King of the Hill tie-in. Breckin Meyer actually took over the voice of Joseph Gribble after he hit puberty.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Did Joseph when he was still a child.
Holy shit.
Wow, that's right. Yeah.
Bobby is coming on to the VCR Redux with fucking facts. I love
this. Yes.
I am. Yeah, this is a man who knows his shit. So Ian, Mickey, first
Encyclopedia Britannica.
Yes.
That is why you are here, my man. So Ian, Mickey, first time Clueless, you remember? Theaters, cable, what are we talking? Rental? HBO probably, I'm guessing, for Mickey.
No, theaters. I saw it in theaters.
Was it a date movie?
Was this another date movie?
Another episode of Mickey the Mac Daddy?
What year was this one again?
95.
This was 95.
95? I was steady with someone.
Oh.
But it was a date. It was a date, but
Oh, that's fine. You don't have to take them out to a movie then. You save the money after you're dating.
But come on. I mean, there's the movie poster sold me. The movie poster, just the vibe of the movie. At that point, you had heard. I mean, I don't remember if the soundtrack was out yet, but the Mighty Mighty Ballstones song off of there was pretty.
Gold.
So
fucking gold.
I was sold.
one of the last contemporary-ish soundtracks, meaning it's got a mixture of new and somewhat older songs.
Yeah.
But I do want to touch on the chat real quick because Alex Bonafante is here as always. Thank you for tuning in, Alex. We really appreciate you, buddy. First is he asks, there was a show? ? And yes, there was.
Oh,
it
God.
It aired for 3 seasons. It wasn't the worst. Honestly, in the pantheon of movies that were turned into TV shows, it is not even in the back half of bad ones. Like there are way worse movies into shows than
sir, not since the pilot for Tu Wong Fu. All right,
there was a pilot for Tu Wong Fu.
There was a pilot for Tu Wong Fu. There was a pilot. They were traveling. The whole premise is they traveled to different towns across the country.
Is this available for me to watch?
I don't know if it's on YouTube.
I probably find it on YouTube.
I know it's out. I know it's out there. It's
somewhere in the dark corners of conventions is a dude selling those on DVD. I know
there should be.
Well, all you need to know about the show was that it started on ABC, TGIF, and then it went to UPN. Enough
so
said.
You're saying it got better, aged like wine. It's a huge step up.
Aged like Boone's Farm. That's
what actress who played Cher in the show.
I would have to look it up real quick.
Her name was Rachel.
You don't like it that much.
Yeah.
Rachel, I respect it.
I think or something like that. Rachel Blankenfield, I think, or something like that. Or
Blanchard.
Okay.
Or someone wants to let us know in the chat for sure that we appreciate it.
You respect it, Chris.
I respect it because
you respect it, but like Rodney Dangerfield say, sometimes you get no respect. Okay.
Sometimes you get no respect, and maybe some from me is better than none at all. I do want to touch in the chat though. Again, it's a big surprise. Also, Alex Bonafante shares on the Brittany Murphy love and respect. He says, for real, she died of pneumonia caused by toxic mold, if he remembers correctly. If that is true, that is fucking abhorrent.
Her husband died
something so like mundane and like an overlooked detail by a contractor or someone, like, you know, cost the world, literally took Brittany Murphy from the world. That just is very depressing. But on a lighter note, in the chat, also our good friends over at Retrofiend Radio say, saw it at the theater with my longtime makeup/breakup girlfriend. Haha.
Yeah, my man.
Christian, that is a story I need to hear one of these days, my man. It's been too long. Hit me up soon.
The 90s were awesome time. Awesome time.
You know what? Everyone was cooler and getting more ladies than I was in these, you know, seeing these movies. Like I think I watched this with my aunt, my mom, and my female cousin. So there was just like, you know, I felt as cool as, you can not cool at all.
I was watching with my cat, so
that's way cooler. That's a lot cooler. But also Alex Bonafante says, I went to the theater hoping ladies from my high school would be there. Interesting strategy, Alex. He says they were, and they ignored him as usual. Womp womp. Well, you know something? Where are those ladies now? Here you are in the chat of VCR Redux, being such an elite, awesome dude. And, you know, where are they now? Ha! Probably nowhere.
Where
They're not
did
in
you
this
go?
Chat, I'll tell you that.
Who would play them?
Where did you go?
Oh yeah, where did they go? Oh, that's what you did there. Nice. I'm sorry. What was that, Bobby?
I said, who would play them? Who would play them?
Play who?
The girls he's ignoring.
Play them in a movie. That's an interesting theory. Well, we will get to the fan casting portion of this show. Okay, so word from Ian Klink just lost power. That is a good segue for me to mention that I am actually hosting this show in the middle of a flood right now. My basement is literally filling up with water on 3 sides, so I apologize in advance. I may have to jump on and off the screen today, but hopefully that doesn't happen. We seem to have things
optimistic about it, so
we seem to have things temporarily under control, but on Ian's case, he lost power, as did I, just before we went live. So we hope he will reconnect soon. I'm sure he will. In the meantime, a little bit more in the chat before we can get to Ian's first time watching Clueless story. Our good friend Jerry Lehane, we haven't seen you in a while. Jerry, glad to see you in the chat. Says, I never got far enough to have a breakup. Well, you know, I can relate because that would pretty much summarize the 90s for me, you know. So I'm right there with you. It wasn't until the 2000s when breakups became like a serious part of my life. Other than that, it was just rejection and fear of, you know, approaching girls. So there's some Retrofiend and Jerry all sharing sorrows in the chat. And our good buddy Dustin Twine Lannister Dustin Nino from Retrofiend Radio says HBO staple, always on. Got to agree. In fact, thank God it was, so I could rewatch it today. But as we all did rewatch it in the as Ian is getting logged back in right now and his router's restarting. We all rewatched it.
I'm back.
Oh, and he's back. There he is.
Perfect
back. Timing, my man. That was the quickest. You got a fast restarting router. Question now to you, sir. The first time you watched Clueless.
So I will have to shout out to my sister Kirsten because she was in junior high when this movie came out. And I remember very specifically, this was not an HBOer for once. This was renting it at the video store and her having a birthday party. And everybody in her friends group was watching Clueless. If it was a birthday party or people, everybody came over. But I remember everybody watched Clueless. That was the big movie of the, of the weekend.
And she allowed you to be in the room?
Well, it probably didn't allow me. I probably just came in there because, why not? I'm the younger brother. I'm the annoying little kid. You do what you got to do. But I do remember watching it, and I didn't get it. And I think, that's the thing. I think Clueless is a movie. If you were young enough, you might not have gotten it. And I think it's a genius movie because as I got older and I would rewatch it and see it on HBO and stuff like that, I started to understand it a little bit more and more and more.
There are things that went over my head as a child.
Oh, yeah.
I rewatch it, and I'm just like, oh.
Oh, yeah. I think there's a lot of movies like that, especially the 90s, right? There's a lot of those movies that you're like, I see what you guys did, you tricky little bastards. I get you. But I remember very specifically, that was definitely a friend. Kirsten's friends came over and they watched on the same thing with Dracula, right? I remember they did the same thing with Bram Stoker's Dracula, right?
Oh, wow.
It was like, it was like girls would rent this movie, and it was like, this is the movie that girls rent. I mean, I know that sounds terrible. I don't mean that in a bad 2021 way, but like, it's just, that was like the movie that
canceled.
Yeah, right. We just got canceled.
Ian is canceled.
I just got here, damn it.
But I remember it was like that. It was like Bram Stoker's Dracula, Benny and June, Clueless.
I loved Benny and June.
I love those movies.
Mary Stuart.
I'm like a 14-year-old girl at heart because I love all that shit. Still.
Well, but I mean, but it's like, like
now and then,
like my dad. Well, my dad and I, like, we're gonna rent, Jean-Claude Van Damme. We're gonna rent Hard Target, and Kirsten gets Benny and June. I very distinctly remember.
I would not put Benny and June in a chick flick category.
I would marathon it between two Van Damme movies. That's like how I rolled when I was a kid.
Oh,
Benny, it's Benny and June was like the early version of Silver Lining Playbook, in a way.
Oh my God, that's a great comparison. Great comparison.
Yeah.
Bastard, Mickey. That makes so much sense.
It does, right?
Oh my God, I hate you. You just blew my mind with that statement.
Yeah, I'm blown away. Congratulations.
I don't know what to say. Like, good night.
I will take that as an opportunity to pivot to the chat one more time, because very important stuff in the chat. Our friends at Retrofiend Radio say Bobby's hair is on point and I love his decor. So Bobby, punk rock points for you.
Yes.
Thanks, darling. I do it all myself.
Also, a shout out to Dan Hedaya for the funniest line ever. I have a 45 and a shovel. I doubt anyone would miss you. That is, Dan Hedaya is, I think, he
does need credit. He does deserve
credit. I mean, we do have to run down an epically deep cast.
Amy Heckerling said she wanted to hire somebody who would usually be a hitman.
God, that's so perfect.
Wow.
Yeah,
makes sense. Makes sense.
But just like everybody else is terrified of him, but Cher just sees him as her daddy, her actual daddy.
We need to do a movie about like the Dan Hedaya universe, the multiverse of like all of the Dan Hedaya roles come together in one, like the dictator from Commando and the lawyer from Clueless and Dick Nixon from Dick. Like,
all those
ridiculous roles.
We have the
guy from Addams Family.
We have the technology.
We do. We could do this. I don't know what we're doing with this.
I will say this. I always liked him as the dad, and I also think there's an ode to Dan Hedaya this might be blasphemous, but 10 Things I Hate About You.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if that's Clueless light. You know, I don't know if that's Clueless Junior, but
that falls into that She's All That kind of category.
Yeah, in that like
late
90s.
90s
oh my God,
teenage
She's All That. How do you
rom-com.
make her the prom queen? Take off her glasses. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, it worked for Superman.
It's
Clark,
so
like you didn't know he was
perfect.
Superman with the glasses on.
Janie
The-
Briggs or
Remake
Lainey
that
Boggs.
with
She's
She's
the.
All That on Netflix. I have not watched it though.
Oh,
I just watched
I
it,
haven't
but
watched
I
it.
can't even. I
The-
can't
Is it
even get
good?
into all that right now.
Is it okay? All right, that's another topic. That's another
Yeah,
The
topic.
that's
But
audacity the whole time they're like, Rachel Lee Cook looks awful in that movie.
no,
Shut
no.
up.
But that could be another
Josie and the
VCR.
Pussycats was her shining glory.
Oh,
Oh,
the best. The soundtrack alone. Soundtrack
The
alone.
soundtrack is fire. I
What,
love
Did you
that
take her?
movie.
Did you take a date to that movie too, Mickey? Good lord.
She's All That.
no,
was
to Josie and the Pussy.
Oh, Josie's and the Pussycat. No, that was an indoor event.
I can't. I can.
Oh my
Somebody
God,
agreed to go on a
okay.
date with me to see Josie and the Pussycats. I feel like I'd be like, that's the one. I found the
That's
one.
Yeah. Like, I mean, like, come on. That movie was tops. But anyway, go ahead. We're talking about Clueless though. So
We're drifting. We're drifting.
Oh, of
And-
all the adults, like we're talking about the adult characters, Wallace Shawn as Mr.
Oh.
Hall.
Oh,
I absolutely love Wallace Shawn. I loved him when he was on the Cosby Show. He did an episode.
Yes.
He was always a next door neighbor.
Yep.
You know, and then like I loved Wallace Shawn. That
He's
guy.
still great.
I love him.
He's looked the same for my entire life.
Pretty
He's
much.
He's basically
Yeah,
looked
he's
like
never
he's like
changed.
And the his
48
voice,
to 52-ish. Yeah.
the
His
best.
voice.
It's the
I know-
same.
I know
can't do it.
I know everybody will always say Princess Bride, but have you guys ever seen a movie called Heaven Help Us?
Yes. Oh, I forgot he was in that. That's right.
Wallace Shawn, it comes on and does this 1 minute cameo where he has this dialogue about teenagers and promiscuousness and the sin that is inside of them. It is hands down the best speech ever delivered in films. You can give me Al Pacino giving football speeches all day long and any given Sunday. Watch Wallace Shawn's speech from freaking Heaven Help Us, and I will tell you that is Oscar worthy.
I actually got to
That was
meet
Johnny
him.
Smith's first film, Lisa Simpson.
Wait, Yeardley Smith?
Yes,
Yeah.
that is. Yeah, she was in that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh my
Her first
gosh.
role.
Wow. I would
Bob, you were bringing the
deep
the-
cut knowledge.
Yeah,
There's
dang
no-
it.
his
My
knowledge,
first episode too. Just
his
wait.
knowledge and hair
Oh,
power knows no
man.
bounds. So
I
there is
think
some.
Miss Stoger is adorable though. Twink Kaplan as
Oh,
as
yes.
love
Miss
interest.
Geist.
She's so cute.
Miss Geist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Miss Geist is so
Yeah.
adorable.
And Twink Kaplan
Oh, yeah,
also,
that's
who
right.
played Miss Geist, she was also in Look Who's Talking, which we were talking about last week.
Yes, that's right.
She's a good friend of Amy Heckerling. She also produced the Clueless TV show. So
Yeah,
for all you
yeah.
haters
She was
out
a-
there,
So she
can't
made a
hate that much.
mistake. Okay, gotcha.
No
She
one's-
went downhill. Okay.
if she wouldn't have done it, then someone else would have done it and made it way worse. So
True. At
she
the
did
very
best
least.
with she did the best with what you could. You're not going to have
Stop defending it, Chris. Stop it. You're
not gonna
defending
have
it, and you need to stop it.
I'm just saying,
Has
it's
that
not
even
the
gotten a
Ferris
DVD
Bueller
release?
TV show. It's not the Weird Science TV show, which actually that
Which
wasn't
is
so bad.
great. That's
Yeah,
a
that's
great way of
I like
turning
that
a good
one.
show.
I like
Yeah.
that one. So
Yeah, the Weird Science one was good.
Clueless,
I painted myself
TV.
into a corner there. But interestingly enough, getting back to Clueless, in the chat, Alex Bonafante says, Clueless seems like the transition away from slapstick and more towards situational sitcom type humor, which I would agree. I think is also Clueless is a big pivot towards the self-awareness of the 90s. A lot of, if you look at, there was a wave of movies that were very self-aware and self-conscious, like Clueless and Scream. I think Reality Bites is another one.
Oh yeah, Ben Stiller. Yeah.
well,
So that was
it's the writers of the time. I mean, Amy Heckerling, stuff like that. I mean, it's smart writing. I mean, and like to have these kids, basically these teenagers, use these big words and just basically just to, describe things and like using the word sporadic and stuff like that and all these other things, like that wasn't really done, at that time.
This is a modernized version of Jane Austen's novel Emma.
Yes,
that's true.
It is. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
which is another thing that 10 Things I Hate About You kind of like stole. There was the Taming of the Shrew.
Turned into Taming of the Shrew. Yeah.
Yeah, they literally just took the Clueless formula and were like, let's do it over here like this, and it's 4 years later now, or 3 years later, you know.
Well, I agree. I think Clueless hit at that right time because the interesting, teenage movies from like the '80s moving into, the teenage movie was just kind of I mean, after John Hughes, it was kind of like, well, where do we go? There's really nowhere to go. Like we're kind of done with the teenage movies, after you do Breakfast Club and all that stuff. And really after all the slashers started dying kind of early 90s, when Jason Takes a Boat and all that kind of stuff.
That was 89, my friend.
But yeah, but it's leading, we got to the point where it's like Freddy Krueger is getting too goofy and nobody, I always laugh, teenagers in the late 80s, early 90s always look like they're 47. When they're in high school, and so it's
Channing in Grease.
Oh God,
yeah. Thank you for taking it back and showing that they've been doing that forever. Didn't Steve McQueen play a teenager in like The Blob or something?
Yeah. My favorite is looking at Porky's Revenge, where Meat looks like he's literally 67-year-old bodybuilder, and he's supposed to be a senior in high school. Just
to be fair. Sometimes it works. Mark Holden as chubby was way older than all the other kids in Teen Wolf, and you never questioned it because he's chubby. And it's great.
Exactly.
Well, we never questioned it. We never questioned it. But all of a sudden, you get a movie like Clueless that comes up, and the '90s did have that moment. It was like they, as you were all saying, like they self-referenced themselves.
Yes.
We were understanding the '90s were this kind of weird, cool time, especially for entertainment. Think about the '90s. What was there to do? It was go to the video store. That's about it. You had Nintendo. Maybe you had a Super Nintendo. That's about it. It was TV that you had to still watch because maybe you recorded it on VCR, maybe you didn't. And so, I did. That was great. But all of a sudden, you get this moment where you get Clueless and Empire Records, and
oh my God, yeah.
And honestly, Dawson's Creek.
I wish I could live a time where I could still work at a record store or a video store and make a living.
It was great.
I would totally do that. I'd be happy to work 80 hours a week if that's what it took. That's what I'm doing.
If I could just do this and get paid for it.
Yeah, basically, Fandom Spotlite, hit us up. We're available 40 hours a week.
Call in.
We'll do a 24-hour marathon.
Yes, hey, it's been done before. I have friends who've done it. It's possible. There are 4 of us. We could break it up. So I do want to put in the chat
at night. I'm not doing that.
All right, well, Ian, you get the morning shift,
That's fine.
Mr. Folger's Coffee, Mr.
That's right,
Mr. Professor Schoolman.
That's right.
So I do want to touch on the chat again. Dustin from Retrofiend Radio says he also loves Paul Rudd's hilarious line, "Hey, James Bond, in America we drive on the right side of the road." So that still cracks him up.
Paul Rudd, that's right, man.
And also Christian from Retrofiend says, "Heaven help us rules." And that scene Ian is talking about is amazing, man. Their flesh will be ripped from their bodies by grotesque serpents.
They go into a close-up of his teeth, which is just genius. All of it's just genius.
And there is some talk. Alex Bonafonte is very impressed by Mickey's Silver Linings Playbook and Benny and June comparison.
You son of a bitch! Oh,
I never would have said that. That's amazing.
Mickey with the mic drop.
You win. You win for the night, Mickey.
I have seen both those movies about a zillion times.
Also,
I live right by that diner where she wreaks havoc.
Yeah,
and there's a plaque. There's a plaque that says that they sat at that table. That restaurant is Lanark Diner is riding that until the wheels fall off.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
I would too.
Yep.
So there is some more stuff we got to talk about in Clueless, of course. We haven't thrown any love to Stacey Dash or Donald Faison. Apologize if I'm pronouncing his name wrong. Supporting cast is great. Breckin Meyer. Whoever plays Elton, I forget his name.
Let's not forget Christian.
That's right.
That's right.
Christian is perfectly cast.
I love him. He's my favorite. He is a very underrated LGB character. because he doesn't get enough credit, but he was charismatic. He was a gentleman. He knew how to dress himself. Like the list goes on of why he was perfect in my eyes. Anyway.
And I liked him a lot because he did a lot of he was so like James Dean. He was so stuck in that. What's the haps on the cool clam bakes and all that.
It was like he was more fucking like James Dean old school than either Luke Perry or Jason Priestley. Like he was too handsome for 90210 even. Like it's
he
like
even did that the one line when he has the leather jacket. It's like, tell me the truth. Is this
James Dean or
Jason Priestley?
Fucking great line. I mean, that is like an iconically 90s thing to say in like so many ways, because and it was also a big thing from 90210 that like this kind of like that sort of 50s, you know, thing came back a little bit in the early 90s there. You know, all the guys were growing sideburns again and trying to pop their hair.
Gosh, yes, sideburns.
I was doing doing the DA cut for a long ass time.
Oh, I bet you looked pretty hip with that.
I was doing it. I was rocking
that.
That's how we got all those dates.
Did you ever put lines in or anything like that?
No. But I mean, like in the 80s, I had the rat's tail and everything. I had the mullet and everything going on.
The rat tail. I had one of those.
In the 90s, it was the DA with like, and then like the mullet was still around for a while, and then you had the DA, and like, you know, so you wanted to be cool like that.
At this time period, watching at Kirsten's birthday party, watching this movie, I had the bull buzz cut, right? Grow it up on top, and you buzz the sides down on all the back. That was it for me for a while.
That was the like penis on shoulders haircut. That was like the, you know what I mean? Like your head could not look more like either a butt or a dick or both at the same time. It's
I've
really
never
strange
heard it put more articulately.
Well, you know, it happened. This one, I never forget, in 6th grade, this one kid got like the most penis-y shaped haircut I had ever seen in my life. And like, he just got destroyed at school all fucking day. Like the first day with this haircut. And like, you would think the kid would like, you know, he would do something. He would shake his hair up or like, you know, fucking try and smear it down or do something.
What could you do with that?
Yeah, dude, it was just like brutal. And like his mom ended up calling my, you know, house, and she had like a, you know, like she's like, your son called my son a penis head. Like, what? Like a penis head? Like, oh,
were they Russian?
Like, I think they were like Polish, or you know, he like she had an accent, he didn't. But yeah, it was intense. So everyone
as a teacher, bullying is not cool.
Yeah, well, I don't, you know,
the more
I think I made a few cracks. I'm sure I did, but it was not, I wasn't the worst of it. I still feel bad about that though. My apologies.
Greatest thing also, like one of the greatest things in this movie.
We go deep here at VCR Redux. We like to just get extra into your head and existentialism here.
Exactly. Yes. All the 90s fashion. All the 90s fashion, the cell phones, the beepers.
The beepers.
Oh my God.
The beepers. Oh,
the cell phones.
The cell phones that flipped with the little antennas.
The antenna.
Oh man.
I mean that's the thing. I remember Clueless is one of those movies where it just, you know, when it hit hard, and people just bought into the idea of Clueless. I mean, what's interesting is, and I don't know, I might get ripped for this, but I don't think anybody in this movie is a good person. I think they're all spoiled brats. I think they're all kind of, you know.
But none of them are like mean, you know.
They're not mean. Yeah, it's not like Mean Girls, but they're just. Cher is just annoying in a weird way.
But Breckin Myers is pretty decent.
That's the whole premise.
I know. But
I think Ms. Geist is a good person. She's always trying to get the kids to help out with Haiti and stuff, you know.
But Cher sees the light. She becomes the leader of the Pismo Beach Disaster League.
Oh yeah.
I think it her skis. That's one of the lines I like. Daddy, some people lost all of their belongings. Don't you think that includes sporting equipment?
I do. You wouldn't like that red caviar, did you?
Now I'm gonna go deep a little bit. What came first of these three for Alicia Silverstone? The Crazy music video from Aerosmith.
After.
Clueless.
Before.
And The Crush.
The Crush was right before. That was 93.
Yeah,
okay, The Crush was before. That's the Crush
So
was the first time
before because Amy Heckerling saw Alicia Silverstone in the Aerosmith videos, and they gave her the role.
Okay.
Wow.
They gave her the role.
See, I remember her from The Crush, and I was like, "What a crazy psycho!" It's that weird thing of like if you watch
The Crush.
Oh my god! When you
should
watch
do an episode about The Crush,
which is Swim Fan.
We should.
The Crush and Swim Fan are the same, basically.
Yeah, that's true. I never thought of it.
7 billion people in this world, Mickey. You're the only person that brings up Swim Fan. Good God.
I love it. I'm all here for it.
It's a great flick. It's a great flick.
We are all at that. We are at the half-hour mark, so it is about time for us to start pitching our sequels and stuff. But you know, I do want to
Swim Fan I. You know.
Oh my God. So I do want to double, you know, if I can piggyback on what Bobby was saying about Christian, and it's also in the chat as well. Alex Bonafonte agrees. Said the character was subtle and not over the top. You know, there was nothing stereotypical necessarily about Christian. There was nothing about him that was reflected in a negative light. He was never the butt of a joke in any way. I mean, I guess maybe only what Donald Faison when he goes on his thing. He's a ticket, you know, Barbra Streisand ticket holding friend to, you know, that kind of stuff. But other than that, you know, there was, you know,
I've always called myself
not Lamar from Revenge of the Nerds. It's not like the over the top. Oh, I'm sorry. What?
I said I've always called myself a cake boy after this movie, to be honest.
See, it becomes a term of endearment, like the Brat Pack. You know what I mean?
Well, the reveal also came late too. I mean, like if you like the reveal that he was gay came late.
Yeah, I mean, we've all seen it, so we know. But I didn't see it coming when I was.
I didn't see it coming either. Yeah,
I honestly, to be honest, and you know, at that point, I was must have been 18. I probably had some inclination, you know, but at the same token, I was just like, I'm just taking this for what it is. And then also, when go ahead, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna say rewatching it, there are clues because he's reading Junkie. And the movies he brings to Cher's house are like
exactly
erotic.
The Tony Curtis.
Oh my God, he's reading Junkie by Burroughs.
Yeah,
he is not.
Yes,
that's right. Yeah, and he had a thing for Tony Curtis, so he brought over
Tony Curtis.
I never.
When they were at the bar, when they were at the dance or whatever, you see him like checking out dudes and stuff. But
the bartender and stuff.
Very subtle.
That was to me. That was actually the reveal. To me, that was when I put it together, and I was like, "Oh, okay, makes sense." But like you know, like,
what were you gonna say, Mickey? Sorry.
No. I said that was the reveal for me. The party, the college party, that college party that all like these high schoolers got to go to.
Yeah. Let's call it what it is here. The fucking that movie put the Mighty Mighty Bosstones on the map. I mean, the 90s were about popping up quick and going away.
First time I ever heard ska really was the Bosstones in there.
Oh, come on, you heard Madness in the 80s. Don't deny it.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true.
I will say the 90s was the era of the soundtrack. I mean, name one mother who didn't have the Bodyguard soundtrack. I dare you.
My mother didn't.
My mom didn't have it.
My mom had that.
My mom was too busy rocking Eric Clapton and Steve Winwood. She was like the mom power pop, you know.
My mom had the Dirty Dancing soundtrack. That was
every mom had that. Yeah, that's true. You had one of the two.
All the rock shows.
I love Overload.
So
nobody acknowledges Overload in that soundtrack of Dirty Dancing, and I want that error. I want that error in this world fixed. Okay.
Fully noted, my man.
Okay.
All right. So before
don't you judge me, Chris? Don't you dare.
I'm not judging you at all. I think it's wonderful. I think it's unique, and I would never have expected that to come out of your mouth in a million years.
Right. So fix that internet. Fix it. That is a great song. He breaks the window. We all were like, "Oh, I'm into this song" when Patrick Swayze does it.
Right to your local senators and complain that it's not more recognized.
That's right.
So before we get to our sequel,
that's right. More Overload when you are doing your campaigning. You'll win the presidency.
Before we get to our sequel pitches, some last notes in the chat here. Retro Fiend Radio says they really love the childhood penis head story. Thanks for sharing, Chris. Glad to do what I can. Alex,
we aim to please here, Ed.
We aim to please, yes, sir. Alex Bonafonte says the words of chat replay do not represent those of VCR Redux or Fandom Spotlite. Also, incredibly true. Sometimes they do veer off our own opinions, and we appreciate the recognizing of that. And there's already a pitch in the chat, which is a great way for us to segue to our pitches. Alex Bonafonte's pitch is that Cher becomes the richest person in the world from her business idea, then goes to space, comes back and says, we need to build shopping malls up there. Well, God damn it, Alex, take my money, because that sounds fantastic. That actually sounds excellent, because why not just be completely off the wall? If you're clueless on Earth, you could be clueless in space, and I'm sure there are fun times to be had there. And, you know, it's also
it actually makes sense.
It's also, as I
Cher
like to call
would
it,
do that.
as I like to call it, space, where franchises go to die.
I feel like
at
Cher,
least number 4.
I feel like
Yeah, we have to
Cher would
wait
have
for
been Cher would have been the one that invented Amazon, because she was doing her clothes with a computer program anyway. So I feel like she would have been the one to invent internet shopping,
which is
What
a great
was that
piece.
software? I'm very shocked that hasn't been done after Clueless. Do you know what I mean?
I was thinking about that
today.
With the clothes and stuff. I've
it
never seen it
was.
before or after.
There was a
No.
TV show called, I mean, it was done before, but there was a TV show called What Not to Wear. And I mean, if you're a TLC junkie, you know what I'm talking about.
That was before Clueless.
No, that was
That-
after.
That is
I was gonna
after.
say, that was definitely after. That was like
Yeah.
an early 2000s
So
thing.
you're saying something before that?
Yeah, I was like, there was nothing before that, and like I guess you said it was after, so it
Yeah.
happened.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
it's one of those false futuristic kind of promises that are totally fictional in a movie. You know, like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, she has like a computer thing that like she puts her clothes on through, and it works a
Mm.
dry cleaning system in her closet and all this stuff. It's like, all right, you know, you have to suspend your disbelief a little bit. It's kind of
Are
like
those
Pee-wee's
super
Breakfast
tiny
Machine.
cassettes in A Clockwork Orange?
Yeah. Oh gosh, where it's just like
Oh,
it's
those
just
are
like
real.
it just puts in there.
Those little tiny baby ones are like this big.
Yeah, those are real. Those are answering machine tapes.
Yep.
Oh,
You
Yeah.
never saw those? You
show
never-
me that here.
Bobby just explained he was never in the 90s, right there.
Yeah, yeah.
I was
Your name
born in
just
the- I
went
was
from
born in
Bobby
the
Analog to
1990s.
Bobby
I wasn't-
Digital.
My answering machine didn't have a cassette.
I remember you could actually like you could actually record to it, so you
Yeah.
could really tick off your parents, and you could change it up after they like left for work, and it's just like, nope, nobody's here right now, blah 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 blah. Click.
And did you ever do the whole music in the background while you're recording your message?
Oh
Oh, right
yeah.
out of Born in East LA. That like, what? I can't hear you. What? Let me turn the music down. And then you turn it down, like, haha. You're like, I'm not here right now, but if you want to leave a message, yeah, those are good. Straight up Born in East LA, man. That's where I got that from.
I love that.
There
I
you
love
go.
that. I will say this. I always thought Legally Blonde was Clueless Part 2.
No, it's like
I
a
think-
diet, caffeine-free, sugarless, tasteless Clueless. Flavorless.
Wow.
I love Legally Blonde. Elwood
But it's-
proved everybody wrong.
Yep.
It's not a
Everybody
bad
believed
in her,
film.
and that bitch she built herself to the top with no help from anybody.
Legally Blonde is not a bad film at all. It's a good film.
a great
but
film.
it's not
Sequel,
fucking Clueless. I mean, like, it's not
But you-
Clueless. I'm sorry.
you could
Clueless is
see-
up here.
You could see a potential sequel to Clueless being
It's
that she
yeah.
becomes a lawyer.
it's like if Mickey was writing a script for Clueless 2 and he sent it out
following
there.
her
and-
dad's footsteps.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's like I thought, every time I see Legally Blonde, I keep thinking of Alicia Silverstone from Clueless. It's almost like it should have been Alicia Silverstone.
It would have been if
Unfortunately-
Batman and Robin didn't tank.
Well, that's what I was saying. Unfortunately, she went to Batgirl, which just didn't work for anybody.
And Excess Baggage was like a
worked for
misstep
me.
too.
It worked for me.
Access bag.
She made this
Oh.
awesome show called Brace Face in the early 2000s. Have you ever seen that?
No,
What-
I'm
what-
not.
What
It's
movie?
a cartoon about a girl with braces, and it's amazing.
Oh, wow.
Alicia
You should've just
Silverstone
done-
voices in it, and she produced it.
I wonder if in hindsight she feels like she should have done the TV show now. Like, well, maybe the show would have been a big deal if I was on it. And like
she had a production deal, and it could have been to do this other show, but that's why she didn't do the Clueless show. Was she had a production deal to do something else?
Let's see.
She probably had a 3-picture deal already or something.
I mean, it's been about 10 minutes, so it was about due time that Chris defended the damn show.
Well, you know, I got to get it in there. Also, like pivoting to the chat. By the way, Retro Fiend Radio says, "I'm with it, Alex. Clueless in Space is the only place left to go." There's also some talk about the mini cassettes and micro cassettes of old school 90s answering machines, and some love for Scrubs because Donald Faison, whatever.
That's right. He was that. He was the boyfriend, right?
Yeah.
It was
the friend, the
Murray.
best friend.
He was Murray.
The hospital people.
Didn't he have braces or something?
In Clueless, he did. Yeah,
he did. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Interestingly enough, also in the chat, Alex Bonafonte says Legally Blonde is the cousin of Eddie of Clueless. The cousin Eddie. Oh, I read that as Eddie and the Cruisers. I just have to work that into every show too.
I mean, Eddie and the Cruisers.
It's the cousin Eddie of Clueless. Okay, I get that. Yeah. Now it was weird.
We're going down there.
I'm done talking to you, Mickey, for the rest of the show. You are done. You are cut off. All right.
Time's the magic. You don't know about the Hilton Overstreets.
So I thought of an idea. I mean, there's simple idea, but then I went somewhere else with it. I mean, obviously, I feel like Sharon and Dion are married with kids. So the easy job.
I thought you were gonna have them married to each other for a second.
Oh, that would be awesome.
And I was that's bold, man. I'm here for it.
There would be. I mean, the easy lob is that Sharon and Dion are married. They have kids. Their kids go to school. But obviously, this is done in 2021 or whatever the case may be, and their kids are dressing in 90s fashion, which is kind of like
married to Paul Rudd and Donald Faison.
Yeah, they're totally married to Donald Faison, Murray, and I don't know, remember his character's name, but
Josh.
Paul Rudd, Josh. Yeah.
So anyway, this is California, not Kentucky.
Exactly. So they're married, and
that was the weirdest part of the whole movie. This entire time, nobody acknowledges the creepiness of that. Right?
Yeah,
am I right?
Yeah.
That's something that doesn't age well. That's like something that
it does. Yeah. Oh, you're a stepbrother. I can be in love with you. No.
Yeah. Well, you're not really. Yeah. You're not blood related.
Former stepbrother, really, 5 years ago. They do have that line of dialogue that's like, you were barely married to his mother, and that was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
You can't defend that.
You could say
weird. I'm not gonna lie.
Where you're coming from, it's weird. It's weird. It's a weird storyline. It's a weird direction to go in.
Cher would have been like 9 or 10.
Now I can't help it, but there's Eddie and the Cruisers 2 talk in the chat. It's not my fault. I'm just saying.
My people.
Our people are there, and Ian is just as fed up as ever, and Bobby is like, what's going on? I don't know.
We've talked about Eddie and the Cruisers. I just haven't seen it yet, but the sequel
you will watch it. You will watch it soon, my friend.
It ruined, you know what? That sequel ruined everything for everybody. Stop defending this movie. I'm getting tired of you all defending movies that don't need to be defended. All right. Eddie and the Cruisers, Eddie Lives does not need to be defended ever in the history of mankind. Now back to the show.
It is defended every time John Cafferty sings Running Through the Fire, my friend. Every time. It's justified and it's right. Like the Rocky IV soundtrack, once it gets its hooks into you, you'll never go back. Which also had
Cafferty. I immediately went to Rocky Horror Picture Show, had a 4. I'm sorry.
Now, Rocky Horror Picture Show, I could defend.
So back to Mickey's pitch here.
So like I was saying, so that's the one I have, like, basically, and that's the soft one. That's the soft one that you can kind of like go from there. The kids
got a hard R like take on it as well.
Yeah, I mean, you could have some of that too.
But you had me on the 90s clothes. The kids wearing 90s clothes. They do that now. I had a kid come in wearing Nirvana shirt. I'm like, you don't know Nirvana. You don't. I've listened to it. No, you didn't. Like, shut up. You're just wearing it because you think you want to wear it. Like,
get off my lawn. Get off my lawn.
I literally say, I'm like, take that off. Like, go to the nurse and get a different shirt. You don't
go to the nurse.
Or Susan Sarandon in The Client, my friend.
No,
Led Zeppelin was a great band.
I said, sing 2 verses of In Bloom. shut up, get out of my classroom. Like it just
like asking them what their favorite song from In Utero is. No one's gonna answer that. Like, I'm sorry.
But
heart-shaped box, baby.
80s rock rules.
So that's exactly. So that's the easy lob one. But I also want Cher and Dion, they're next door neighbors and Romy and Michelle. They're there. They're kind of the former comment. And then like so
I'm
the
getting
kids
so excited over the Romy and Michelle talk.
Yeah, so Romy and Michelle is like, living next door to them. And then they're the kids are going to school. But then like one of the teachers is like Rachel Lee Cook, because she's an art teacher now. So
you're making a
you're tying all of these classics.
Yeah, you're making like a Marvel. You're making the Expendables of Clueless.
You're making 1990s Endgame.
You throw that in there.
It's like not another teen movie, but with a different title.
Yep.
Movie.
Freddie Prinze Jr. is like the gym coach or whatever like that.
Wow.
Oh, you don't have Mario Lopez as the gym coach?
No, because he was not really.
Let Saved by the Bell die.
Let's Saved by the Bell. No. I love Saved by the Bell. Never let it die. Keep it going.
It was more of a Good Morning Miss Bliss fan.
Ooh, Bobby with the deep cut here. Dang it. Oh my God. Yes.
I like that too. But
I like them all. I love the college years, honestly. So they're all great.
That's my idea. I'm like, let's throw this in there.
Fucking A. I'm sold on two new Clueless movies already today. If you in the chat have a take, hit us up there, because it's like, we could do 10 Clueless movies in the next 15 minutes. Ian, Bobby, do you guys have takes or hot takes even?
I would want to see Christian with a boyfriend. I feel like that's what we missed in the first movie based on the time period.
Fuck. That's what the goddamn show should have been.
In my movie, he would be back. You would have them all back. He'd be next door too.
The weird thing is, like, in the show, I've seen enough episodes to know that her relationship with Paul Rudd did not continue.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they're brother and sister.
Or not. That's up to you guys as writers, of course.
True. You can erase anything. I mean, all of the Halloween movies. Like, how many kids has Jamie Curtis had?
I want somebody to come up. I want somebody to come up and like.
You got Danielle Harris. You got Josh Hartnett. You got Judy Greer, and none of them have ever met.
I just love the fact that it Clueless I. And it's all of a sudden you got somebody walking down the line like, wait, Alicia Silverstone, Paul Rudd, they're married. No, that was just a made up thing that somebody said. They're not really brother and sister.
Yeah, that didn't happen.
That didn't happen. That was a rumor somebody made up. Totally retcon it. Jeez.
But then also, what would we do with our dear departed Brittany Murphy? Which is why I don't think a King of the Hill reboot would work.
I would miss my Luann.
I would like the Brittany Murphy thing. I would treat it like the Paul Walker in the Fast and Furious, where he's still alive in the movie universe. He's still alive in the Fast and Furious franchise, and you hear him his name drop from time to time, or whatever the case may be. So I would do the same thing with Brittany Murphy, like maybe like have him like, oh, I was just talking to Ty the other day and stuff like that. She's doing well in Alaska, whatever the case may be, living with Breckin Meyer's character, whatever the case may be, just so you would just keep her alive in that way, like you would mention her, but you never actually see her.
What would Breckin Meyer's character be doing? What do you guys think he would be up to?
Oh, he would be the Tony Hawk
version. He's married to Ty, right?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
He would be like Tony Hawk. He'd be a pro skater.
He wasn't that good.
Here's how you do his character, right? He's actually a well-known poet, right? He's actually sold a lot of books. He's like the poet laureate, and he actually is completely a sellout, right? He shows up, he's wearing all these suits and ties and, being like all like, oh, yeah.
Ties, no pun intended.
And he's like, all that stuff. But he's not true to himself. And at the very end of it, right, he's got that moment where he's like, this is not who I am. And he gets back into the 90s gear and does a great poem as himself,
and then he kickflips on his skateboard into the sunset.
Yes, you got to end it on that note. He's it works. It just totally works.
You could have him as a lawyer, and then tie in the Franklin and Bash TV show, and then he's like, man, I'm tired of hanging out with Mark Paul. I'm gonna go back to skateboarding.
Bash Franklin and Bash. Mickey, 4 people watched that damn show. You were one of them. Knock it off.
And 2 of the others were Franklin and Bash. So.
I'll tell you, fictional characters. Fictional characters.
I'll tell you what I the only way that I can see another Clueless, and to be honest, and because to me, Clueless is a perfect movie. All right. So I'm gonna, for the first time ever, I don't think I actually want to do a sequel, a reboot, or anything like this. I actually want one of these Lifetime movies where they do the making of. And
I would.
Those are horrible.
Lifetime
yes, they
is a
are
really bad,
but they're
selling
good.
point though.
They're
they
so
ruin
bad
everything.
that you need them.
But
again,
their old movies were great up until 2000. Once 2000 hit, they all went downhill. But before that, they were amazing.
The 90s ones are fucking lit.
Baxter.
Yes.
Wait, the one where Tori Spelling gets murdered by Kelly Martin.
Yes.
When they stopped having Nancy McKeon on a lot of those shows, they
went to the Daphne Zwanga, man.
That's right.
Oh, Daphne Zuniga.
Yeah, you gotta bring her in there. But that's what I would want them to do. Because to be honest, how great would it be if they also went one more step? Instead of doing the making of Clueless, what if we had a fictitious they made Clueless 2, and this is the making of Clueless 2?
I kind of feel like that's the Beverly Hills.
That's super meta. Super meta.
The Beverly Hills 90210 reboot.
Yes, it would. It's like they rebooted Clueless, but now it's like this is how everything went terrible. They did get Alicia Silverstone back. They did get everybody to come back, and it just didn't work, And there's like on-set affairs.
Okay, that's a twist. But Mickey had a point. At first, I was ready to say no because I was thinking of that 90210 reboot where it was like, if they would have just picked a lane, either way would have been better. It's like they didn't want to give us a new show about those characters older, and they didn't really want to give us a fake reality show about the actors. But if they would have just picked one or the other, it would have been a much superior product. And maybe still not good enough, but they're actually interesting.
And it can mix Mickey's idea, right? You put all these 90s people in it, right? It is Rachel Lee Cook. It is,
Mira Sorvino and Lisa Kudrow.
Yes, Lisa Kudrow. Yeah, you put all these people in this making of bad Clueless 2, and it's just genius,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just over here thinking about a Romy and Michelle reboot where like they're thriving in their business.
We will do Romy and Michelle on this show one day, for sure.
Divorced from her drunk husband.
Ooh.
So there's an interesting pitch coming in the chat from our friends over at Retro Fiend Radio. Again, if you don't know, they make the finest canon and martial arts documentaries on the internet. So be sure to check them out. They do incredible stuff. But they say they could do it Big Chill style, where the gang is all reunited at Brittany Murphy's funeral, and then they have a wild weekend celebrating her life and reliving their youth from the 90s. That is a fucking movie.
We need we need another Big Chill.
And there's a fucking time capsule involved too.
Can we fund this?
Seriously, Retro Fiend, take our fucking money because that is amazing.
How long has it been since we've?
That's the best one yet, I think.
Well, you were talking earlier, Bobby, about Empire Records. I mean, Empire Records is a big chill. It's just a big chill in a record store. Wherever where every action movie was Die Hard on a train. Empire Records, it's big chill in a record store. Indian Summer, big chill at a camp.
I mean, so you consider like any coming of age movie with an ensemble is like St. Elmo's Fire is big chill.
Oh, but only if it's that there's really not there's not a plot structure, right? It's not they have to detonate the bomb at really it's just a bunch of people gathering and doing nothing.
It's like life happening as it is. TV film.
Yeah, you could totally do that with Brittany Murphy's
like a day in the life. Almost.
And then you can get Travis back.
It's just great. Like this is just a random of these people's lives.
And the best part is you could have a Brittany Murphy moment if you did kind of a Rogue One where you all of a sudden you have Brittany Murphy's likeness in a dream sequence or
No way.
You will sit there and defend the damn show for 14 hours. I say a great thing to bring Brittany Murphy back, and you boo-hoo it.
I gotta say the nano, my friend. That's just you can't do with Pixels what Brittany Murphy is. I'm sorry, but you'll never be able to make beauty like that with Pixels. And this isn't just like I had a crush on Brittany Murphy, but she is a fucking force of nature and a presence, and you're never gonna digitize that. I'm sorry.
She's an irreplaceable one. Did you guys see the movie they made about her? Speaking of Lifetime horrible films,
doing her digital would be worse than not having Alicia on the show. But I'm sorry. Well, did I see what?
There was a Brittany Murphy Lifetime movie, and it was horrendous.
Yep.
Was it really? Who played Brittany Murphy?
Somebody who's not famous.
They only get like.
Somebody who's not watching.
I hope she's not watching.
Somebody who's not famous and never will be famous.
We know you're watching. Hit us up in the chat. Come on the show.
It was the equivalent of like, because they did a real bad Prince one too, and they had like this guy playing Prince, and they couldn't use the music, so it was so horrible.
That's like that VH1 Michael Jackson one where they couldn't use the music. So every transition is you see Michael's shadow dancing, and you just hear like off-time drumming, like boo 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 boo. And it's like, that just doesn't even sound like MJ beats.
When they can't get the rights to things, but they still go through with it. Like in the Runaways movie, they only got three of the band members. So like two of the band members were just like always in the background, like just like doing nothing.
Yeah, if you ever want to like a more in-depth story, a movie or documentary about the Runaways, it's called Edge Play, and it was done with all the Runaways except for Joan.
Well, I will be watching that later.
But that was like an in-depth documentary. So I was super, because the Runaways are one of my favorite bands. So I was really stoked for the movie. Not really stoked, because once I heard Kristen, Stewart, got cast it, I was a little bit like, oh God. I'm like, oh God, no. And then the movie is what it is. But I digress.
I want to listen to Lita Ford now.
Well, if you watch the documentary, she's on it. She talks too.
I want to watch Joan Jett interviews now. But we are winding down and running a little short on time here. So before we wrap it up and shut things down, Bobby, what can you tell the people at home about the Still Fabulous podcast that is coming soon?
Well, it's in the works. It's getting there. I will be talking about my favorite underrated shows, movies, films, etc. And I will be having some celebrity guests coming on to talk about their experiences from A to D list.
Yes.
Nice.
I've got a few lined up, but I don't know if I want to like give it away just yet.
No. Keep it
lined up.
Build the suspense. Always play with their minds.
But it's the questions I'll be asking are not going to be like, say, like people always ask Jennifer Aniston about Friends. I don't want to hear about Friends. I want to hear about Leprechaun. I want to hear about Cucamonga. Let's talk about the real shit here.
There's nothing I hate more than when all these celebrities don't acknowledge those first few movies they did because that was it's like, no, when you cash that check, you were the happiest damn person in the world to do that.
Right. We're looking at you, John Goodman in Revenge of the Nerds.
Yeah, you know what you did. Like Jennifer Aniston. Although I give Jennifer Aniston credit. She does talk about Leprechaun. She will acknowledge it. But like Leo, he won't talk about Critters 3.
Oh, fuck him then.
No.
He's out.
They always have to remember that, whatever you did brought somebody else joy.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, if you liked it, then like good. I'm glad. Like you're the one person who liked that movie. That's great. That makes it worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm Still Fabulous. The podcast coming soon, and you can find me at Bob Faggot on Instagram. B0BFAGETTE. See you there.
Radical. We should do that, guys. Mickey, Ian, is there anything coming up with you guys? Is Rick Barth and the Line getting closer to shows?
I think we're getting closer to just being able to get in a room together.
Exciting.
I just worked on a great video I directed for some fellow friends of our show, Dairy Public Radio, Stephen King book podcast. We just worked on a video project that's going to be premiering soon at the end of this month. So look forward to sharing that. So
wow,
shout out to Dare Public Radio if you get a chance.
Well, I look very much forward to checking that out. So I do want to remind everyone at home to tune in next Wednesday night at 9 p.m. as we give Johnny 5 a software update and do our best to continue the Short Circuit franchise. As always,
disassemble number 5.
That is correct. As always, if there's a particular movie or TV franchise that you want us to cover on a future episode of VCR Redux, let us know in the comment section on YouTube. And since you're already doing that, you might as well go ahead, like, subscribe, and follow Fandom Spotlight, Rick Barth and the Line, the Hollow 9 Network, and Pop Culture Punk. And keep those eyes peeled for the Still Fabulous podcast. Till then, back up those Betamax, rewind those Laserdiscs, and we will see you at the movies.